Okay, let's quickly mark. How did it go with the sums? Were you able to do it? Okay, those are the ones we had to get the interest rate alone that you were struggling with. Okay, we'll look at it now. Question 1a, you all understand that it was not two consecutive actions happening there. It was two different setups. The one is simple interest and the other one is compound interest. So for simple interest, you use the formula and then you get 8,600. That's the end of it. The second one was for compound interest. Then you use the compound interest equation, so it's to the power of 6. And you get 9,869,11. Okay, number 2a. You had to calculate P. So you had the final amount, you had to calculate the original amount. With the first situation is when it's simple interest, the second one is when it's compound interest. So it's just two different equations. Here multiply with the years there to the power of the years. So the A's answer is 7,853,40. B is 6,375,91. Now I just made a star there. I want you just to make a star. When we're going to look at question 7, there's a different formula that I want to show you that you can use with B. Okay, so just make or indicate for yourself there. Okay, number 3. That's the consecutive investment. First doing the one thing, then taking your answer and then reinvesting it. Now I drew a number line just to show it's not necessary, and here I did it in two separate sums. So 90,000 was invested for 4 years at 10% simple interest. You get 126,000. Then you take the 126,000, you reinvest it for 3 more years at an interest rate of 12% simple interest. And then you get your final answer of 177,020,93. Do you understand that you get to that answer? So I asked you, when you have a situation where it's two consecutive investments, you can please try to do it in one sum. Okay. If you did that, you will have noticed that it's much easier. Because you take 90,000, you multiply it with the bracket that you would have used for simple interest. Then you just multiply with the bracket that you would have used for compound interest. And then in one step you get the final answer and it's done. Much safer, much easier. From here on I only use that method. So question 4, 9,000 invested for 4 years, interest rate of 6% compound interest. Then the amount is taken and reinvested for 2 more years at the compound interest of 7%. Type it in your calculator, you get that answer immediately. 13,008,69. Good. Number 5, you had to calculate P. They gave you the final amount, you had to calculate the original amount. So I substituted and then I took that bracket over and I got 29,411,76. Got it? Okay. So question 6 was the one where you had to find the interest rate. This is with simple interest. So you use the simple interest formula. You want the amount of 4,000 invested for 2 years. The amount of 3,000 invested for 2 years to get 4,000 rand. What must the interest rate be? So once you did that, I saw with the Afrikaans course as well, many learners took the 3,000 over and subtracted it. Was that the problem with you as well? Not. Okay, so I divide with 3,000 to get it away of that bracket. So it's 4,000 over 3,000. Then I take the 1 over, I subtract it, and then I have to divide with 2, and then I get an answer of 0.16, which sometimes feel a bit funny. But you must remember, when you substitute into I there, you substitute the decimal number. Ne? If it was 10% interest rate, you don't substitute in 10, you substitute in 0.1. So that's why the answer that you get is decimal. But you need to know that you still have to take that answer and multiply it with 100 to get the correct interest rate of 16.7. Do you understand that? Everyone? You can do that. Okay, question 7. You had to, they also gave you the final amount, 500,000. You had to calculate what amount must be invested for 6 years at an interest rate of 14%. So you just substitute and then you take that bracket over to the left hand side. So you're going to divide with 1.14 to the power of 6. You get 227,793.27. Do you understand? Okay, now this is the one where I want to show you another formula. Is there anyone who can remember? You have to think back to the first term. If I divide with 1.14 to the power of 6, is there a way that I can change this to be at the top and still get the same answer? Multiply by what? 2 to negative 6. Do you hear what Moana is saying? She says, if you make that exponent negative, then you can say 500,000 multiply with the bracket to the power of negative 6. Because when you multiply with a negative exponent, you are actually dividing when it's a positive exponent. Do you remember that? Everyone? Okay. Now, because we want to do the sums like we did it here, number 3, everything in one step. We need a formula for each one. So we can use a different formula when we are trying to calculate P. You see, this is the formula calculating A, the final amount. This is a formula to calculate P, the original amount. So it's going to be equal to A plus 1, A times 1 plus I. It still looks very familiar, ne? But the only difference is, now I'm going to say to the power of negative n. Do you all understand? Are you sure? So if you were to use that formula, you would just say 500,000 bracket 1 plus 0.14 to the power of negative 6. And if you type that into your calculator, you'll get exactly that same answer. Because it makes sense, ne? When it's to the power of negative 6, that means it's a fraction. Do you understand? Okay, the reason I'm showing you this formula now, before we start with the new work, is we're going to learn about the formula that has a subtract in as well today. But you shouldn't confuse the formula that we're going to learn today with this one. Okay. This is not a subtraction sum. This is actually a division sum when the exponent is negative. Okay, number 8, the last one, you also had to calculate the interest rate there. So I substitute everything except for I. Get the 6,000 to the other side, so I divide with 6,000. Now, this is to the power of 4. Now, the way to get rid of that power of 4, I want it to become the power of 1. Okay? So I multiply with a quarter in the exponent, and that's how I get rid of it. So both sides, the exponent becomes a quarter. Do you understand that? I think that was maybe what you were struggling with, I think. And then you just take the 1 over minus 1. You get 0.0392, and the answer is 3.9%. Any questions about this? Are you all fine? Okay. This is foundation. So if you see that you were doing many of them wrong, you're going to have to go and check it again this afternoon. Wat jy net maar baie go and look at it again this afternoon. If you have to redo the whole activity, then that's what you do to get the basics correct. Are you all done? Okay, you can draw a line and write a heading. Depreciation. Yeah. Okay, depreciation is when things lose value. Okay, so if you buy a car, the value of the car will depreciate. It's going to become less. Now we want to calculate what the amount will be if the value depreciates at a specific rate. Okay, it's exactly the same as interest. There are two different depreciations. The first one is linear and the other one is the reduced saldo, after reduced balance depreciation. Same thing. Okay, so we're going to write down the equations. Linear what does linear mean? Straight line, eh? The formula for linear depreciation is A equal to P bracket 1. Does it look familiar? 1IN. This is the only difference. We are used to it being plus. Now it's just going to be minus. So when the value is going up, like with interest, it's plus. When the value is going down with depreciation, it's minus. This is a N, reducing balance. What do you think the reducing balance depreciation's equation will look like? What changed for linear from simple interest? The sign. The plus became a minus. So what do you think is going to happen with reducing balance depreciation? The plus will become a minus. What does a negative exponent mean? It means division. Do I want to divide here? No, I want to subtract. Do you understand the difference? Don't confuse yourself with the two equations. So it's going to be A equal to P bracket 1 I to the power of N. There's the difference. And remember the formula that we looked at now when we marked was when you want to calculate the value of P. Then P is going to be alone equal to A bracket to the power of negative N. It's not the same as this. Okay, let's quickly do an example, or let me first write this down first. Okay, A, book, Can we do the example? Okay, so linear, this is the amount, the present value. I have to calculate what the book value or the scrap value will be after 7 years if it depreciates at 12%, linear. Then I'm going to say A equal to P bracket 1 minus IN. So it's going to be 900 bracket 1 minus 0,12 times 7. It gives me an answer of 144. So after 7 years, the thing that was 900 Rand will only be valued at 144 Rand. If at B we use the reducing balance depreciation, it would be A equal to P bracket 1 minus I to the power of N. So it is 900 Do you understand it? I want to do a second example. Just to quickly show you, they say a laptop costs 9,000 Rand. And after 4 years has a scrap value of 2,000 Rand. Find the annual depreciation rate if it's A using linear and B using reduced balance. Okay, so now I just want you to help me substitute correctly. Which one is which? So, firstly with linear, I need to write down the formula, ne? It's A equal to P bracket 1 minus IN. So, let's just go through what is what first. A is the book value or the scrap value. So that's the value after the time period has passed. P is the present value. That's the original value, the one that you started with. Okay? I is the depreciation rate and N is the time period. So let's start. That 9,000 Rand. A laptop cost 9,000 Rand. Where must I substitute the 9,000 in? P. Do you all agree with P? Okay, so I'm going to put in 9,000 there. 4 years. What is 4? Where is it going to go? N. And then they say has a scrap value of 2,000 Rand. A. And now if I want to find the value of I, I'm going to start by taking the 9,000 over. Do you agree? It's going to divide. So it's 2 over 9 equal to 1 minus 4I. Can I take the 1 over? It's going to be 2 over 9 minus 1 equal to negative 4I. How do I get I alone? Divide by negative 4, and therefore I take this whole thing also and divide by negative 4. Then the answer I'll get is 0,194. Is that the final answer? What must I do? Multiply by 100, so it's 19,4%. It will be quite similar if we have to use the reducing balance formula. You just have to know I use the other formula, A equal to P bracket 1 minus I to the power of N. The 9,000 is still P. The 2,000 is still A. N is still 4. So I take the 9,000 over, divide, then I get 2 over 9. How do I get rid of that power of 4? Multiply the exponent by a quarter. Then I'll have 2 over 9 to the power of a quarter equal to 1 minus I. What am I going to do to get I alone? Take the 1 over there. Subtract 1. So it's 2 over 9 to the power of a quarter minus 1 is equal to, look here, negative I. Now the answer I'll get is negative I is equal to negative 0,3134 what going on until forever. What will the correct answer be of I here? What must I do first? Divide by negative so it becomes positive, and what must I also do? Multiply by 100 so it's 31,3%. Okay, you are going to open your textbooks on page 275 and you're going to do that exercise 2, number 1, 4, 5 and 7. It's just 4 sums. Okay, so you will have time to finish it in class now. And as I said, if you were making a lot of mistakes with exercise 1, you need to go and redo it this afternoon. Can I switch off here? Okay, I just want to stop the recording.